this teaching has evolved naturally in what I found out just really last season in Arunachala in India, when a book of Kashmir Shaïvism caught my attention, opposite of Ramana Ashram. And I read it, and I found that Kashmir Shaivist approach to non-duality, that is so much my experience, where humanness and consciousness merge into one, where consciousness is not only to be remembered and the world is to be left behind, but consciousness then is free to act, to engage, to love, to feel. This is close to the Bodhisattva approach in Buddhism. When there is no separation between consciousness, which there isn't because it's a non-dual reality, then consciousness doesn't mind if it's having a human expression or not. Yes, it's wonderful to rest freely without a body and the mind, but it's even maybe more wonderful to enjoy as consciousness the beauty of life, the beauty of seeing, feeling, hearing, tasting, touching things, wow, as consciousness. This is Kashmir Shaïvism, and this is, in my understanding, in my heart, as I've been taught, Jesus' teaching also. That has been carried by some Christian mystics, even they couldn't really speak openly about that. God and I are one, essentially the same truth, because they would have been burned to ashes. But if we read between the lines or listen to their silent teachings, we know, because it's the same consciousness that spoke, that is here available still in our hearts, that that's what they meant. And that's what the life of true non-dual understanding will express. A life of sharing, of compassion, of joy, of laughter, and also of mutually, equally, of this great empathy, feeling you as me. Not being scared of unpleasant feelings, pain, that is part of the game. This constant openness that is the nature of consciousness comes with all the beauty, all the love, all the joy. But if we're totally honest, which is not so common in the spiritual supermarkets these days, it also comes with vulnerability. Your pain is my pain, but we are prior to the pain, or the pain is just a costume, I like to say, of the beauty and the love inherent in it. So if we really wish to live as we truly are, if we really wish to live in this human form, in this expression of consciousness, as consciousness without the last subtle duality that consciousness is different, slightly different to this world. If we are not willing to give up that last veil of Maya, this very, very thin veil, if we are willing to give up this last thin veil, all is one. And all is one means my human faculties, my humanness feels completely, fully what is appearing in consciousness. We share the love and the beauty and joy, and it's by then guaranteed the vast majority of my human expression, of my human experience. But I may need to enter a hospital or a place of great density, of great pain, of great contraction. It's part of human life. And then I will also not lose my happiness, my joy, my love, because my happiness, my peace, my joy, the love is the very activity of consciousness. It's called in Kashmir Shaïvism Spanda or Kriya. This bubbling that we can find when we rest long enough in the still, in the static aspect of consciousness, this dynamic aspect of consciousness starts to bubble, and that is the love, the peace, the joy. But that love, peace, and joy is prior to the dualities of this world, of the pain and pleasure of this world. So when we are open and one, and we enter a place of great pain in the world, we will feel it. We may cry, we may, and that's why the Christian mystics and Buddha spoke about life as suffering. But the Christian mystics did not turn away from their suffering. They welcomed it. They took the challenges. This is the definition of a mystic. They're welcoming the challenges, knowing that I, loving awareness, am not afraid of any experience that comes to me. And that openness and that welcomeness transcends, dissolves the last traces of ego, of separation, of a fearful me in me. So I find myself in this great paradox, possibly, that there is this deep love in the most painful human situation. Like accompanying a beloved friend dying. A great loss, a great companion of my human experience may leave, and in my humanness there will be naturally, most naturally, even with the deepest understanding, most likely some expression of sadness, of grief, of human expression will emerge in consciousness. But in the same time, the love and the peace is untouched. And the love and the peace of my beingness, of consciousness, so to speak, is the only thing that is really real, that lasts even when a beloved friend passes. So this knowing in my heart of that which is real allows us to be together as that. And in that way, all the pain and suffering of the world can be welcomed, knowing that all the pain and the suffering of the world, even in my humanness, it is felt. The emotions and the thoughts may appear in consciousness. And those of so-called others, which are not others, are felt in my own heart. The clarity and understanding, embodied experiential understanding in any circumstance, in any moment of this human dream, will allow me to stay open and to experience life completely, fully,